Hello everybody, WindrakeHex here, doing a competitive draft on Hex TCG MMO. Not a very exciting pack. Genesis Pool Naiad can be pretty good. Um, Somewhat conditional. You want her down early. Pretty bad body. Um, but being able to play 2 resources on turn 2 is pretty good. And then turn 3, I guess, if you're really flooded. But it's really only going to be great for 1 turn during your development stage. Um, though, and it's can't count on it as ramp. Though I'm probably gonna pick it here just out of lack of options. I don't like Construct Foreman's better in its respective decks, but I don't want to jump artifacts. Pick one, so I'm just gonna go with the card that um may help me. Um, and is a little more open, does it? Not quite as committal. So I really like Reactor Bot. I really like Battlecry Warlord in the right deck. Pearl Herald's great fixer and a decent body for the price. Battle Hardened Paw would kind of go with our first pick a little bit. Um, just in that it's wild. This is more of a ramp card. You want to play like your 4s and 5s and 6s earlier. Reactor Bot would probably be the cleanest, most open pick, and it's a fine card. Goes in pretty much every deck. But Crackling Bolt is Crackling Bolt. Solid removal for the price, and gaining a charge is pure gravy. This card's really good. Also splashable too. It's good enough to splash if I just really need removal. Here, not seeing a whole lot. Could be a signal that humans is somewhat open. Crackling Guard Priest is pretty good. We'd probably take a Crackling Sprout if we knew we were wild, but we really don't. Card's okay. Better sack out that outlet or in a dedicated Darkspire deck. So we're just gonna take the best card. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a signal for artifacts, but here we go. We're a little schizophrenic right now as far as where we're gonna be, which is normal. The first 5 picks. The goal is always just to draft the archetype that's open. Um, so cool. I guess we now go into our 4th color. Well, this is a relatively safe pick. Um, though it's a little expensive. I like the 3 cost 1 socketable minor card better. At 5, even if you do get a 3/3 flying first striker, which normally doesn't happen because you have to be in exactly those 2 shards. Which is fine. It's just I'm kind of underwhelmed because it costs 5. So I'm just gonna keep picking the best cards and see whatever's open. Tormentor Ritualist is a great card. Obviously, with this strategy, we're gonna be giving up 2 picks. So here it's like awesome. So we've gone down all these picks. Now we're gonna go into our 4th archetype because there's nothing really. I guess this will be okay in humans, but Crackling Separatist isn't enough to just make me think I'm in humans. This card wheels a lot. It's not necessarily a signal. Electroid is a really excellent card. Goes in bots. So does Construct Foreman. So does Crank Rocket. I think Crank Rocket's the most important card to that archetype overall, mainly just because it's removable. We'll see what wheels. So yeah, cool. So we're gonna take another Crank Rocket. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different archetypes in our draft. Let's try to get it down to 1, shall we? Take another Crank Rocket. Hopefully that's a signal and some of those Construct Foremans will. Can always splash Crackling Guard and Tri-Shard or in Ruby Sapphire. But yeah, looks like we're just waiting for the signal. I think we finally got it. Yep. So when you're drafting the triple Crank Rocket deck, it's really important that you have cheap troops. Um, Otherwise, you just get a handful of Crank Rockets and you can't really do anything. This satisfies that. Cheapish, right? Good robot card. So kind of aborting 3 picks, but that's fine. We just really need to know it's open. So they're not gonna make it super easy on us. Could hate this card, but fixing we may end up needing to play a third shard. This kind of helps our base out. Um, Again, could play the arena regular, but at the end of the day, you need cheap bots if you have this many constructs. And like it's a cheap bot, and it could also be a resource sink later if you're having trouble developing your board and get more of these guys out. Subterranean Spy is fine, man. Dwarf gains you some information. Not a bad attacker. Pretty much never play him for his cost. He's pretty much always tunneled. So yeah, um, this card is actually it doesn't look like anyone is playing it, but the card is quite good when you get his threshold. Yeah, I'll take 2 overtime bots. Hopefully, I don't have to play any of these. Um, but we just know that we can get to our crank rockets, kind of control the game a little bit. I thought we were gonna play 3, but whatever, we got them. Really underwhelming card on its own, obviously. But goes up in value. He's kind of a construct enabler, kind of his key. I think this card's worth something. Probably find out how many. None of those construct formans wield, so. I don't know. Should I just pick it? I should just pick it, right? Because it's worth like $6 and I don't know better. Well, I don't think it's worth $6. Bellow of Brigadon. I'm gonna beat myself up for not knowing, but I can't bring it up fast enough. Alright, so first pick here. Don't need any more crank rockets. Reactor bot would be nice, but this guy enables constructs and makes a 3/3 more often than not. It's worth the first pick here. Hopefully we can keep going in that direction. I'm going to take a little bit of a risk here and not take the first recovery specialist that I see. So it could be a mistake. Because with this many crank rockets, we definitely want at least one. This could be a little bit of a greedy pick. Electroid's great in this deck, obviously. 3/4 for 1. Going to be able to attack and block more often than not. I don't know if we're really getting there. A lot can go wrong. Need a lot of cooperation from the table. Overdriver or spam bot. This would be an upgrade to our 2 slot, but Overdriver finishes a lot of games in this archetype, so pretty clear. We could double up on the splash crackling guards. It's kind of unnecessary. So yeah, we'll go Underdriver. Really key cards, besides the obvious ones, are like Overdrivers and the 2/4 that brings back an artifact from your deck. Well, we're kind of getting all you can eat rocket plans. I wonder if 4 is just fine. Normally I would take the Kraken and I'd think about maybe splashing it, but it's a little silly. Considering I don't think we're gonna have time or space to splash anything. I guess we just play 4 rockets, huh? There's nothing else. I guess maybe Into the Skies would have been a nice sideboard. Maybe even main deck if our deck got there. I guess we're just mono crank rockets. So now we really want. Okay, so things are drying up for sure. On Team Robot. Mentor the Graves would probably be the thing we want to play against the least. So I guess we could play a Sly Huntress. I don't know. Kind of doesn't really fit the archetype at all, but it's a decent card. Nah, I'd rather just hate Mentor the Graves. I normally don't hate, but the card's quite good. Not good enough to splash, but quite good. Alright, so we're mono crank rockets. Really looking for, honestly, cards like this. Spam bot. We're going to be a little more control-y. We want cheap robots, big removal. Now we just need some ways to win the game. Yeah. What that is, yet to be seen. Better in an aggressive deck, although it's too expensive. I guess Mecha T-Hex would technically win the game, though I never play that card. Yeah, we're gonna need some help from pack 3. I don't know how open things are, am I right? This could be a setup for a bad pack 3. It's just so hard to tell the signals on robots sometimes. People share, other decks share some of the cards, and people hate draft robots a lot. Can't believe I'm taking a Mecha T-Hex. Alright, Constructed Foreman or Hornet Plans. I think it's Foreman here. We don't have any flag scrappers, so these guys are going to have a target more often than not. I like the evasion, but we have so many. Like, it's not a good blocker, it's just a good attacker. We're not necessarily that aggressive. I mean, I guess we could be now with. Well, our Construct Foreman counts only up to 2. I guess we play. I don't want. I'm definitely not going to play more than 4. Maybe take tiers in case we want to splash something. So it's like artifacts aren't necessarily open, but whoever the drafters are also in bots really don't like Crank Rocket. That's fine. May get us a card, though I think this is oftentimes just bad. If this does 1, I may play it. Yeah, it's the one that does 1. You never know. This card's fine. Another cheap dwarf getting out our robots. We really just need finishers now. Some kind of power level. We didn't even see any war bunkers. Just weird. Into the Skies is a cool pick. Very grateful to have that. I might even main it, though our power level is quite low. Don't know exactly what it is we're trying to do. Right now, we may need to play an Excavation Hulk. A little silly. I think this deck really has going for it is 4 Crank Rockets and 2 Construct Formans. And 1 Electroid. Hey, we got a sideboard card. So yeah. That card's not worth anything. Gain control of target opposing troop. Yeah, we can play him. Not horrible. Though I don't know, man. It's a 2/3 for 4, which isn't great, but gain control of target opposing troop with attack less or equal to this. So you can grab once. You can grab a 2-power thing. That's card advantage. It's pretty cool. But our deck needs power level and finishers. That's pretty much Hellhound. He's going to be a 4/4 flyer with fire breathing. I don't even know what they call that in Hex, but he's gonna like. That's our big bad dragon finisher and this like kind of clunky control deck. Um, yeah, I'd splash a murder, but we have an on-color card. All the better. Sapper's Charge, not that exciting. That card's pretty good. A little bit of a tough pick. So this guy, draw a card. This guy does equal card advantage. And this deck pretty regularly. It's astonishing how fast you can get up to that 7. Or more accurately, how low that 7 clause goes down based on your board state. I kind of feel like Sapper's Charge is a little more consistent. Though this helps us. I think we have enough little dwarfs to play. I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't know. Sapper Sarge isn't as needed. I know it's a role player kind of removal, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and take Research Librarian. Because I know it's most likely gonna draw us cards. Here we're kind of just getting cut. It follows the same line as what Pack 1 looked like, getting past some kind of human diamond based stuff. Scrap Welder could be a finisher. I think Command Tower is like pretty good overall. I think it's going to give us more value than that one turn of Scrap Welder. Otherwise, I really wouldn't mind splashing some diamond stuff. And Mesmerize is okay. We don't really need it in this deck at this moment. So we're going to hope to see at least maybe one Terabot or a Warhulk or something. Seems like those are all getting first picked away to our right. War Machinist is fine. We do have a lot of artifacts. Probably going to do way more damage than a Sapper's Charge, so Sapper's Charge just does it to the face. You can give this Flight. It gives us a little more punch in our deck. I think some of this stuff is going to wheel, so we'll go ahead and take a War Machinist. It's going to help us get out our constructs. We really just need finishers, because we have like, well, it's turning into a weird deck. So anyway, there's lots of stuff they could wheel from here though that'll make us happy. So War Machinist is fine. Really nothing to talk about. Buccaneer's fine. Not the best in this kind of deck because we're not really building up to win on the mid range or just trying to get so far ahead with aggro. We're kind of more of a kind of schizophrenic. We didn't get our base cards were kind of gobbled up to kind of make this more mid rangey aggro. So we're kind of forced to just rely on crank rockets and kind of get those out, control the game. We didn't get back. We missed our opportunity to get the 2/4 that brings stuff back. So shucks, should have taken it when we had the chance. They normally will, but people are messing around in artifacts. People hate that card too because they've just been 2-for-1 with it too many times. Let's see, Ruby Pyromancer. I think one of these will wheel. So this card's fine. A little. We got one source of card advantage. I don't really like the body this guy leaves behind, and the other one we have is, it keeps happening and happening. Implosions would be fine, but this card increases our power level a little bit, so I like that. Forwarded Wall. Maybe our secondary Wing Kong is just a death of 1,000 paper cuts. This does one, and our War Machinist does one, and stuff like that. And we're drawing cards, just kind of scrapping together stuff. So, because that's most likely to make the deck, especially because I don't think we're pretty weak on 4s. I don't want to play Shield Bot. Your troops. Yeah, we're not really a flying deck. I may pick that for money. Let's see. We don't really need that card because we have 5 sources of removal. Gravecaller is kind of nice. We're not really splashing anything anymore, are we? No. I'll just pick the card or something. So yeah, we saw no Terabots or Construct Formans. Didn't really even get all that hooked up. In humans, which normally happens when people are in bots on your right, they're like forced to pass you get human cards because they take Terabots and Warhulks and stuff. I'd rather just have Terabots and Warhulks. I'm not exactly sure how this deck makes it past round 1. This would be good for him, but this is a better card in a vacuum. Well, we actually had some decent into the battlefield effects. That was probably a mistake. I guess maybe you make the deck. We need more finishers. Yeah, it's another draft where I feel like I'll be lucky if I get past round 1. That card's the scariest. Alright, well, we get a second shot at it. I think Devoted Emissary is going to be fine. We have Buccaneers. We double up on that ability. We have, we could recast. Um, we could recast Construct Formans and Subterranean Spies. That's pretty, okay against those. Alright, so subpar bots for sure. There was like a better Diamond something deck, like Diamond X. Wasn't really humans. The human cards would gobble up, but Diamond was more open than I think bots was. It was just I kept getting past Crank Rockets. So it seemed like Crank Rockets. I mean, that's a key card, really good card in bots. So I was like, well, okay, it's open. I think just whoever. I think there's two other people in bots, and they both don't like Crank Rockets. I know it sounds oversimplified, but I mean, that's I saw multiple Crank Rockets wheel, and then none of the other stuff you'd expect to wheel. So just kind of like pick order priority list for those. I could just be one guy, but eh. Unless he's directly to my right, he just grabbed everything under the sun for robots in Pack 2. Like he just got like 5 terabots in a row or something. I don't know. It's really hard to tell if robots is open to your direct right or if you're being cut from your direct right. It does make a difference in Pack 3. How many seats down you're being cut. Uh, just because it's possible to have multiple first pick or good picks in one pack and all that kind of stuff in robots. Well, that never really happened. We took our shot. Same with humans. It was okay in pack 1. So let's make this deck. I think I'm probably gonna lose the first round. Not really the spirited mindset, but I don't know. Maybe the War Machinist effect is real. I'm gonna play all 4, just because I have so many early drops. And that's kind of how we win the game. That's kind of like what we drafted around. Like, okay, so we're gonna get out our constructs, and we're gonna kill some stuff, and then we're gonna bring that stuff back. We're gonna bring back the constructs and kill more stuff. Well, we didn't get that enabler. Card's been going a lot higher lately than he normally does. All right, so we didn't get that enabler to bring it back, but we're like, okay, well, we have 4. So now we need ways to be able to cast this reliably when we need to, and that's these guys here, all these little cheap dwarfs. Uh, yeah. So then the theory here is, all right, this card's just good. It doesn't really have any synergy. Um, but so now we're upgrading some of our stuff, though we don't really have any great bots to put a counter on, for the exception of, well, these guys are fine. So we're upgrading. We're adding some more power. Maybe we're killing a blocker, doing some more damage. Maybe they're getting slightly bigger. So this is kind of like our aggressive shell. And since we're only on 16 cards, it looks like Arena Brawler is probably going to find his way into that aggressive shell too. Also, another good aggro card would be Time Ripple, kind of like Buccaneer, but without leaving the body behind. So here we're entering into our mid range stuff. We're getting Overdriver, which can make a robot bigger. Doesn't have a ton of targets, but now we have Devoted Emissary, which could possibly get us back. Well, he could possibly be bad and unplayable because he's the only thing on the board. Or we have something on the board that we don't want to bounce back to our hand. most likely not going to happen, especially with a Bertram ability. We're going to have something we don't mind bouncing back. Doesn't need to stay on the board. And how that helps is that enter into the battlefield effects. So it's not really here, but we'll see later on. Like being able to use him twice is quite good. What else did we draft for? Well, maybe make sure. Um, hmm. Okay, so it's mainly for our construct formans, maybe a little double hit on the inspire. That's mainly for our construct formans, um, and one overdriver. I just think is is gonna do more than you'd think. So include him. Subterranean spy is part of our early game too. Gain some information, maybe play out our lines a little differently, more optimally. If I can remember to actually write down the cards, I try to remember by my head, and then opponent play something that I should have known he had. And anyway, I feel dumb. There's no there's no real reason to not play flight. This is kind of our finisher, increases our power level, and this otherwise pretty soft deck. I'd say. Same reason we could arguably play a Blood Crazed Zealot. Um, he's just ginormous, and we still need to play 3 cards. This card really sucks. I don't like him. So yeah, maybe we play Into the Skies, and then we play Time Ripple, and then we play. So it's decision time. We either play Blood Crazed or we play Arena Brawler. Do we want to go early or late? I think our early is okay. I think we're lacking just another big finisher. So just play the big dumb 5/4. And there's our 23. Um yep. So 9/8 split. So 8/7 now because we have the duel. Do I even need to play a duel? It might only serve to slow us down. Yeah, I'm not going to. So oftentimes you just would rather just have that be either a diamond or a ruby. We didn't end up splashing anything. Secret, Kraken Guard Separatist isn't really worth splashing, in my opinion. It's a great card, but it will slow down. It's at the sacrifice of your overall resource base. Didn't seem worth it. So, yep. You guys probably know what Bertram does. There's no real other angle to play this. I've tried Giles early on with robots to see if, especially with the aggro robots, to see if it helped, but you just end up like your construct formans just become useless, and your flag scrappers become useless, and other cards, and it's just. And then oftentimes, like you're playing another like a human deck, and you're like, man, I would have just loved to have a 1/1 chump walker right now. Like Bertram is good enough to play a robots deck. I've seen some streamers and stuff do that because just having a consistent body is pretty legit. Um, it allows you to kind of like play a little bit more on your terms, slow the game down, set things up, which is a lot of what Robots wants to do. And those troops are used as resources, so effectively, um, resources for constructs. So anyway, this is a 5, the 4 Rank Rocket, spammy control deck. It's schizophrenic. It's trying to do 5 different things, but Robots does kind of try to do it all. So it's kind of normal, but I don't really like this deck a whole lot. Like I said, I'll be really happy if I make it out of round 1. Just lacks the cohesion and It doesn't transition from the early to late game particularly smoothly, so we'll see. Kind of need a lot of luck to win early. That being said, it is what it is. Can't win them all. I'll record game 1. If I win, I'll post it. All right. Thanks, guys.